I've got a new favourite Seiko and I want you to tell me how I should mod it. Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Yes, that's right, I bought another Seiko, but only the cheaper ones, no more expensive Seikos for me. I bought an SRPE 60, the two-tone Dress KX. I've been eyeing up this one for a while. The SRPE range was launched towards first quarter last year and I reviewed one about 12 months ago and I said it was the best new Seiko in years, and I stand by that 100%. If you're not fixated on wearing a dive watch, having a dive time bezel, these things make a lot of sense and they are night and day, leagues apart, leagues ahead of the old 37.5mm Seiko 5s with 30 meters of water resistance and a 7S26. Now I have slowly been watching these come down in price as the kind of hubbub, the buzz around them faded. I spotted these ones at 250 Aussie dollars, dropped down to about 220. I missed that, but I snagged this one last month for 230 Aussie dollars. That is 170 US dollars or 120 quid. I reckon that's a pretty good price. Being a Seiko though, it's not perfect. You don't get everything for that amount of money, but that's where modding comes in, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to rattle through a mini review of this one, bit of a strap fashion show as well, and then I'm going to tell you some of the parts I've been thinking about adding to this one. Now I have started a YouTube community poll with the various options, and I will do the mods that you tell me to do or not tell me to do, as the case may be. What are the options then? Let's flip the camera and get on with it. So what do you think of the price that I paid for this one then? I was delighted to find this for 230 Aussie dollars. Please let me know if they are cheaper where you are from, or if you've found one for a better price than I did. I appreciate it is the two-tone gold, which may not be as popular. I think the blue and the grey are the standout models here. There's a kind of black with gilt hands, which maybe isn't as polarizing as this one. I could have had the rose gold, but wasn't quite sure I was ready for two-tone rose gold. This one though, summer's coming up in Sydney, I thought a little bit of gold would go down a treat. If you're unfamiliar with this Dress KX range, it's not quite a bezel-less 5KX, but it's not far off, certainly a number of elements which will be very familiar to fans of Seiko, in particular their dive watches. Great proportions though, they shrunk it down a little bit, so it's a 40-20. 40 millimeters in diameter, 20 millimeter lug width, bang on 12mm thick, and a super compact 44 lug to lug. This is going to wear great on a lot of different people. Inverted mid links of the end links help as well. Sized up for me, 7-inch wrist, this one weighs in at 129 grams, so a great set of dimensions and proportions for me personally. Stainless steel case, crown, bezel, IP coated bezel, crown and mid links here. We do have solid links, but we do have hollow end links on the bracelet and a press clasp. Again, I'm not going to complain too much about those features today, considering this is around the 200 US dollars or less. I'm also not going to complain too much about the flat Hardlex crystal with marginal anti-reflective undercoating. That will be something on the potential mod list today. You do get 100 meters of water resistance with a push-pull crown, and that is a 4R36 day-date complication movement. The lume on this watch is also outstanding, just so much better than those smaller previous generation Seiko 5s. I put this one head to head with a Seiko Paddy diver a couple of weeks ago and it beat its Paddy big brother, which had an RRP over twice the price of this one. So plenty of practicality then if you are thinking about this one as a daily. I think my favourite feature of this watch though is the case. Beautiful proportions as discussed, but it is very nicely finished as well. Two different finishes to that gold bezel. There's a high polish upper surface and a brushed edge to it. And just typically gorgeous Seiko finishing even at this low price point. Very, very smooth, comfortable high polish there means it wears a treat on wrist. Now unsigned crown, again I'm not complaining too much of the money, and a circular brush finish to those upper lugs. Drilled lugs today is a bit of a bonus and is going to make my strap fashion show a little bit easier. Bracelet is okay, certainly pretty comfortable, but it is going to be on the possible chopping block today. No shortage of other options from Namoki Mods, Uncle Seiko, Strapcode, etc, etc. I did give myself a bit of a problem though buying the two-tone because there aren't many two-tone bracelets made for the SRPE range as yet. Similarly, the clasp, I think this is my biggest problem with this watch. Only 2 holes of micro adjust, meaning you're not guaranteed to get a decent fit, and indeed I haven't got quite the fit that I've been looking for. It is a little bit loose. 130 grams though, it's not a massive issue. But there is some good news regarding the clasp which I'll give you later on. 4R36 visible through the screw down display caseback, also made of Hardlex, and Seiko 5, that new 5 logo there on the custom rotor. This is the upgraded movement that we were clamouring for Seiko to put in Seiko 5s for years before they did. 24 jewels hacking and hand winding, and the old 7S26 didn't hack. 40-hour power reserve, rugged, reliable and accurate enough for this style of watch. Let's get it on the time grapher. Yeah, so the beat error is a little high, but I can have no complaints about any of the other figures on there, can I? And I think it's a handsome, well-proportioned dial. People had been taking the bezels off their SKX for years, so this look isn't a massive surprise, but it just works. I think it looks great. So this is one of these kind of embossed dials. The indices aren't quite applied, they're pushed through from the back, but plenty of lume on them as you saw. That little triangle with a syringe tip at 12. Syringe tip oblong batons at the 6 and 9 and circles everywhere else. Because this is the 4R36, you get that day-date complication for added convenience and an applied Seiko logo. The new slightly controversial, but I don't mind it at all, 5 logo is just printed on, as is that automatic in nice italic script above the baton at the 6. This one has an angled V-hook chapter ring which lines up beautifully, I was delighted to see, also in gold to match the script on the dial and to match the hands. Handset's kind of classic Seiko dive range stuff with that lollipop counterbalance on the syringe second hand as well. Overall, simple, handsome and legible. That's it on wrist. I've got a 7-inch wrist, as I'm sure you are probably sick of me telling you, but I love a 40-20 and that incredibly compact lug-to-lug dimension means that this is going to suit guys and girls with wrists much smaller than mine. I am wearing this one a little bit loose though because, as discussed, I would love to see a bit more micro adjustment on that clasp. And this is only IP coated there. If you fold those links over, you can see the IP coating doesn't extend to the bottom half of them. That will scuff and scratch if you treat this watch roughly. It is only a budget watch after all. But because it has that bezel-less dive watch look, the legibility is awesome. Nice big hands, nice big indices. Same applies in natural light despite the lack of anti-reflective undercoating on the Hardlex crystal. And yeah, I do like this two-tone, I must say. I've kind of dabbled with gold in the past. It's not really stuck. I reckon this one is probably going to last longer than my previous attempts, especially if I put some effort into it and mod it. On wrist, yeah, lovely short lug to lug, beautiful case, really comfortable. The bracelet has its inadequacies, but they don't translate to an uncomfortable wear. It's actually very nice on wrist. So a lovely watch then, but one that I think could be a little bit lovelier with a few well-chosen mods. But perhaps you disagree with me. There will be a box for no mods, keep it standard you mug, you'll only break it. If I'm going to change anything, I think the first thing that I would do would be the sapphire crystal. Hardlex, you know, it's mineral crystal. It is going to scratch at some stage. I'm pretty clumsy. That stage is probably going to come sooner rather than later. Double dome sapphire is available for this watch from Mark at Long Island. He does a flat one as well, but I'd probably go domed. Similarly, Crystal Times Horology, couple of choices there, including a variety of different anti-reflective options. I would probably go clear coat. So that's kind of the first mod that I'm thinking of doing. It would be the sapphire crystal upgraded over that Hardlex. Next possible mod, I did say there was some good news regarding my major bugbear with this one, which is that clasp. And that is that it's very easily replaced. It's not integrated into the bracelet itself, meaning one of these $6 AliExpress milled clasps that I always keep banging on about and I have got in various sizes. This is an 18mm, fits straight on and does give me that extra micro adjust hole that I have been looking for. However, that means various other clasps are an option if I want to keep the two-tone bracelet. Strapcode do a bunch of 18mm diver style clasps, including some in IP gold, with the chamfered edges, the fold overs, the double security pushers and multiple micro adjusts. So If I don't want to upgrade the bracelet entirely, I could upgrade the clasp independently of the bracelet. Or obviously I could go further and upgrade the whole bracelet, although I'm not going to get a two-tone. Uncle Seiko do two, they do the President and the Jubilee. I'm guessing they're the same two that I bought from Larry for my Seiko SRPE. They're okay, but they have hollow end links and a press clasp as well, and they are all stainless steel, no two-tone. Strap code, again, do several options, including what they now call the Super J. That will add considerably to the weight of the bracelet though, so I'm kind of torn as to whether I go down that route. Similarly, Namoki mods have a variety of them, including their own Jubilee version, though it doesn't look like it's got quite as nice a clasp on it as the strap code does, so again, that's something to consider. While we're on Namoki mods, they also have a fluted gold bezel for this one to give it the full date just look. What's your thoughts on that? I'm not entirely convinced. I might leave the smooth one on. I'm not even going to put the fluted one on as an option, but it's there for you if you're interested. And finally, the last mod that I'm considering, which is also the most expensive and the most complicated, is to swap out the movement, because I may as well just swap out the whole movement for one with a black day and date wheel. I think that would take this watch to the next level, especially when combined with a piece of double dome sapphire. Not cheap though, again Namoki mods have them, that's about 100 Aussie dollars. NH36s are expensive at the moment because they're in short supply, especially with black day and date wheels and the crown at 4 o'clock like that one. So not beyond the realms of possibility, but obviously far more involved. But is it worth it? I don't know. I'll pass that one over to you guys. So a little bit of a strap fashion show to finish then. I am a sucker for the vintage cross-stitch Horween or leather look, and I think that happens to go really nicely with the vintage vibes from this two-tone model with the gilt hands and that gold bezel. I think the sailcloth also looks pretty hot and keeps that vintage vibe going, and also keeps that genuine ability to get wet at a moment's notice, which I always appreciate from my watches, especially over the summertime when I do try and get to the beach quite regularly here in Sydney. So a lovely watch overall then, the Dress KX. If you can find one at a good price, I reckon it is a welcome addition to a collection and eminently modifiable. I'm interested to see how far you think I should go with mine. So there you have it. Well done for almost finishing the video. If you like the SRPE, why not check out my original review from last July? Or if you like to see me eating humble pie, why not check out the video where I admitted I was wrong about the Seiko SRPE. Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you in the next one.